Right, lads. Here today, I'm going to show you basically my highlights of the Netherlands round 8 for Formula B. So yeah, basically, I have got I just put the drivers and the constructors up on screen there. You can pause if you want to see it for a bit longer, but um, as you can see, the team standings were only ahead by 12 points ahead of Red Bull. Um, so going into this race, there was kind of, we kind of needed to outscore Red Bull because a few weeks in a row now, Red Bull has been slowly closing in. So it was kind of an important week. So yeah, basically we'll just go on board here, our first qualifying lap. As you can see, now heading into the slow banked corner. It looks okay at the minute. A little bit undercommitted, probably could get on the power a bit earlier. Coming up to the end of Sector 1, we get purple. I was one of the first drivers out, so you can see it's not really representative. And I hit that inside curb there, which is obviously not very good. It pushes me out wide, which then makes me go wide again on this corner. And then on this corner, I try to get on the power super early to make up for those two mistakes and end up bidding it. So moving on then, you can see there's a few laps in at the minute, and provisional pole at the minute is a 109.0. So we know we can do a decent bit better than that. We've done 108.5 in time trial. So yeah, we just get out there again, get the wing replaced, back down to turn 1. It's definitely a better turn 1 than last time. So it's looking okay at the minute. Down to 5th gear here, down to 3rd. It's a okay Sector 1. We were definitely kind of undercommitted a bit, but yeah, I think a good sector here is like a 24 flat or a 23.9. You can see we do a 24.163, which is not very good. Do a better inside curb there this time. Managed to hit the apex there on this time on that corner, and we do not spin the car coming out of here. So it's looking like an okay banker for the minute. Get to the end of Sector 2. 48.1 is not terrible. So get an okay run out of there, and now coming back onto the last corner. Take a tight line. Try reduce our lap time, and we put in a 109.2. So quite far off at the minute. That only puts us P7, and we can see Tim has gone to the top there as well with a 108.9. So nearly 3.5 tenths down, so not very good at the minute. We need to kind of set a lap now because we're going to end up quite far down the grid otherwise. We're in 7th at the minute. Definitely need to improve. So coming down to turn 1, I think we touched the grass there on the way into the turn, sent us way too deep. We're now 2 tenths down on our last lap. Coming into the bank corner, we're still 2 tenths down, and coming out, I just decide to abandon the lap. 2 tenths down on an already bad Sector 1, decided to abandon the lap and just go again. We have enough fuel to go again, so here we go again, our final lap of the session. Coming down to turn 1, down into 4th gear, hit a pretty good apex. You can see we're already up on time. Into 5th gear, down into the banked corner. Coming out of the banked corner, you can see that I'm more committed this time, getting on the throttle earlier, hitting better corners. I'm now at 10th and 3/4 up. Purple Sector 1, hit the fast right-hander pretty nicely, keep it tight. And then not the best there on the right, we still hit the curb too much and it kind of pushed us out wide a bit, so we do lose a bit of time there. But we do commit more going through these next two corners. You can see now we're just over 3 tenths up, so it is looking a lot better than our previous lap. Get to the end of Sector 2, and that is purple. Hit the curb on the inside perfectly. Bit wide there on entry, but it makes a better exit, so we're now 4 tenths up. And coming then to the final corner of the track, we are just about 5 tenths up on our lap. So this should put us provisional. Yeah, so we go provisional pole at the minute with a 108.765, which is okay. I was kind of happy enough with that. That was about a tenth and a half off my PB, or maybe a little more. But yeah, I was happy with that. That only managed to get us P2 in the end. Zizan pipped us on his last lap, unfortunately. You can see Cam got close as well. So P2 at the minute, which is definitely a good start for the race. Yeah, I mean, our teammate is down in 9th, we're in 2nd. The two Red Bulls are 5th and 11th. So for the stand-ins, it's looking pretty good at the minute if we're to finish like this. I didn't really know what strategy to go with here. I was initially thinking to go with softs, but just because there's definitely going to be a safety car early on. Seems to always happen in this league. But yeah, so I was going to go softs. I committed to it. I was just kind of waiting to see what everyone else was doing. And yeah, I mean, the soft medium is a pretty good strategy around here. The softs last a while, so it's definitely fairly feasible. You can go 13 laps on the softs and 14 on the mediums, which was what I was going to do. But then I check here in the race director and I see that there is some people who's got mediums at the front, so I didn't kind of want to be in a different strategy to them, so I just switched to softs. And we decided to go 14 laps on the mediums here and 11 on the softs. So now we just have to try and stay ahead of the two soft runners behind us for the first few laps, and then the pace will come to us. So not the best launch off the line. You can see Cam here behind us on the softs, a lot better launch. He sticks around the outside. We tried to hold it on the inside, but get on the power a little too early and causes a big snap. So Tim is kind of pressuring us from behind at the minute. You know, he's got them fresher softs, so we start burning a bit of battery here just to try keep him at arm's reach. The wings are running for this are pretty low for Zandvoort, so I was just kind of trying to hold on in the middle sector, and then, you know, make that time back up in sector 3. Sector 1 wasn't too bad because there's that big long straight, but sector 2 is kind of tough. Would always lose a bit of time. You can see Tim is right on us there now. Also, it's really hard to recharge around here, so it was pretty difficult to try and manage it and keep the soft runners behind me far away. And Zizan had good pace at this stage in the race, so I did have to burn a bit of battery just trying to keep up and make sure that I was safe from behind. But as you can see here on the straight, Tim doesn't really gain on us at all, which is perfect. So he's probably got a similar setup or maybe a little bit higher wings. We gained quite a bit on Cam on the straight there, so I'm assuming he's gone for a higher wing setup. And you'll see coming down this straight here, we do close up a lot on the back of Cam to the point where I was touching his rear diffuser. So yeah, so far the wings working pretty well for us. I was pretty confident around this track, especially for race pace. Probably one of my most favorite tracks in the game. So I don't have a lot of experience with it on F1 23, so this was my first proper race on it. But when I played before on F1 2020 and 2021, I was always really quick around here. So there was only really slight differences with the curbs and stuff. So again, Tim is pretty close to us. He's also kind of getting pressured behind from P3. So this was kind of benefiting us. Tim was kind of draining his battery, I think, in weird places. And then when it got to the main straight, he wasn't able to catch us or overtake us. You can see P3 is right on the back of Tim now, trying to get an overtake. That's the fastest lap. At this stage of the race, very comfortable. Sticking with obviously Zizan on the mediums as well, and Cam hasn't been able to get by him, so this is good for our strategy. All looking very well. We just have to try stay alive at the minute, let their softs die off. At this point in the race, I was kind of feeling like I was gaining a bit of time on Cam. Maybe the softs weren't working 100% for him, but I was feeling really confident here. So I was going to start lining up a move. You'll see I start sort of pushing at the start of this next lap. Do use a bit of battery here as well. I kind of wanted to stay close to him. You can see he's kind of dropped back a bit from Zizen, like 6/10 or so. So I was kind of getting a bit worried here. I didn't want him to drop out of DRS from Zizen in front, so I was thinking about making a move here. And here I try to get the power down really early, get a bit of a snap, and I get all nervous, bit brown pants time. But yeah, and then as you can see coming into this corner, VS Nutty has spun it. So that is the other Red Bull. He was the reserve for this week. He has had a crash. So safety car comes out. We decide to pit because everyone else pitted, but as you can see, we got jumped in the pits by P3 Games. What a move, but yeah, we tried to slow down in time. We did actually slow down, but with P3 Games overtaking me in the pits, it distracted me, and I forgot to press the pit limiter button. So when I went to rev again, I went over the pit limit speed. 5-second penalty because of that. So moving on, safety car stays out. We decide to pit and get this fucking 5 seconds out of the way. Pretty annoying. I mean, at that time, with P3 overtaking us, we were provisionally third on track. Obviously some people in front hadn't pitted as well, but on the strategy anyways we were third. See, we can pit again. We're basically last, 15th, and there's a bit of carnage here on the restart. I think some people were getting pit limiter issues, so unfortunately Assassin got taken out by that, by brake checking and shit. So anyways, on the restart here, we get a pretty decent restart, probably a little bit better than our teammates. I wasn't, trying to burn all my battery down this straight, so I just said I'd stay tucked in behind for the minute. Just kind of chilling behind him, kind of hoping he'd make some moves, but then again, you can see the virtual safety car comes out, so that stays out all lap, and here we are again, restarting. I wanted to get a really good exit here, because I think it was crucial that I got my teammate here. Similar sort of strategy. I wanted to be ahead of him, especially on the fresher tires at the start. So I get a better restart than him, and he gets a drive through. We were in a call at the time, so he just said he's gonna let me go. So I got by him handily enough. Got by Zizen as well because he was in an incident ahead. So that's good for our race. Him and Cam actually had a collision turn 1. So Cam got wing damage and Zizen got severe wing damage and thrown off track. But as you can see then, back up to racing speed. We're trying to get N Patrick here in front of us. We have a lot more grip than him at this stage. He's also on fresh tires, but they're hard, so yeah, we definitely have a lot more grip than him at the minute, and probably a bit more pace than him too. So as you can see, we get a better exit here. We decide to launch it up the inside. Nice little cheeky dive bomb. Get it stopped in time. I think Patrick goes a bit wide there, and that allows our teammate to also follow us through, which is good. And now we move on to the next driver up ahead, the Alpine. So DRS was enabled at this point, so I really kind of pushed these two corners trying to get into DRS, and you can see just about got in, 9.5 tenths, which is perfect. I was not going to go for the move on this straight because it's a bit too far back, and I had a feeling he was going to try burn his battery. So we'll sit on board this lap and see how much we can close up, and maybe shape up a move then on the next start finish. As you can see, much more traction at this point, all over the back of him. It seemed like he was going to be pretty defensive with me, so I really didn't want to launch it like I did on N Patrick. He didn't want to fight it too much, but yeah, I was being a bit more careful here because I didn't want my front wing to break throughout sector 2, so I just said I'd stay behind until the back straight. So as you can see, right on the back of him here, 3 tenths back. Going to close up even more on this corner as he goes wide. Now under 2 tenths behind him. Size up the move pretty well. Turn on the battery nice and early. The DRS on. Should be an easy overtake. you can also see his light starts flashing too, so he's either used his deployment for this lap or he's under 10%, so that makes it easier for us. We get through nice and handily, and now we charge on ahead to the two drivers a little bit off the lead pack, JDM and Jared. So these guys, I don't know if they've pitted or not at this point. I don't think they have, so they've stayed out under the safety car, and we're just trying to close up on them. As you can see, we definitely have the pace at the minute by purple sector 1, closing up pretty rapidly up to these two. So skipping on then, lap 12, you can see we've closed up over 2 seconds now, and we're almost in the DRS. So I kind of tried to push this fast right-hander in the next few corners to try get into that DRS. I kind of wanted to dispatch of these two as quick as I could, just because I knew they were on much older tires and they were going to slow my race down. So coming on here to the back straight, Jared actually gets a snap, which makes this 100 times easier for us. We have way more momentum here. We don't have to use much battery. Use the DRS. Can tuck in then, and moving on to JDM. He goes really wide there, which again makes this really easy for us. We're all over the back of him now, coming down onto the start-finish straight. I don't think he was going to fight us too hard here after seeing us close up too much, so it was a lot easier move than on Le Degumur, the Alpine. So yeah, now we just have to try push on. You can see the leaders ahead. Tim still hasn't pitted, 13 lap old softs, so 3 seconds behind him, and Alfred as well hasn't pitted, the championship leader. So yeah, moving on to lap 13 now, a lap later. You can see we close up a good bit to Tim, and didn't close it too much on Alfred, but he gets a 5-second speed and penalty into the pits, which is great for us, and again great for the constructors. He's our main competitor. I don't think I'll be able to catch him in the drivers probably, unless he DNFs every race. I missed 2 events, so I'm a bit too far back, I think. But yeah, for the constructors, definitely great for us, him having a 5-second penalty. So now we are provisionally P1. At this point, I was considering all sort of options. I didn't know whether I was going to go long or like try go to the end or pit or what. But as you can see, by lap 13, I decided to stay out. Lap 19, so we skip on 6 laps, and you can see I decided to stay out. And yeah, we have Thuggins closing in pretty rapidly. He's on fresh hards, and then you can see Alfred as well. He is quite a bit back. He got wing damage at some point. Him and Thuggins were closing up together, but yeah, Alfred got wing damage as well at some point, which is also really good for our race. So we don't have to worry about Alfred. So at the minute, our main competitor is Thuggins. But as you can see, moving on then to lap 25, he didn't manage to close us down. We have pretty old tires here, 60% tires, but I think our pace was just really good this race. I think the other guys didn't really think I was going to be a problem, so they're battling each other probably a bit much and might have lost time there or something. But yep, just over 60% tires, managed to finish ahead of Thuggins and again Alfred. And you can see our teammate as well has had a really good recovery after getting that drive through. He's up to 4th place. Unfortunately, he didn't quite manage to slip into the 5 seconds of Alfred, but yep, that is the race. Managed to get a win, a nice clean win, no collisions or anything, a few clean overtakes. Yep, very good performance and very good for McLaren.